This is Paige, the co-host of Giggly Squad, and I want to tell you about a company that I've been loving, Olive & June. Olive & June gives you everything that you need for a salon-quality manicure in one box. And if you break it down, it really comes out to $2 a manicure, which is absolutely insane. It's also so easy to get salon-worthy nails at home with Olive & June. The difference between how your nails used to look when you did them yourself and now with the Mani system is a complete game changer. The best thing about Olive & June, too, is it's a quick dry. Dries in about 1 minute, lasts for 5 days, and full coverage in up to 1 to 2 coats. Visit oliveandjune.com/perfectmani20 for 20% off your first system. That's oliveandjune.com/perfectmani20 for 20% off your first system.
On today's Smart 7, the government takes steps on extremism, Rishi rules out May election and lots more. It's Friday 15th of March, it's Red Nose Day and happy birthday, will.i.am.
The Smart 7. It's news, but not the news.
We're just about 2 weeks on from Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's somewhat odd anti-extremism speech from the Downing Street podium. Since then, we've seen the man at the centre of the Islamophobia row leave the Tory party and a new racism row over remarks from a Tory mega-donor. It may be hard to remember who the extremists are supposed to be, but Levelling Up Secretary Michael Gove popped up in Parliament on Thursday with a helpful list of organisations and a new definition of extremism. He listed 2 far-right groups and 3 Muslim groups that he said gave rise to concern because of their Islamist views.
We will be holding these and other organisations to account to assess if they meet our definition of extremism, and will take action as appropriate. There are, of course, further steps that we will take in the coming days and weeks to marginalise extremist groups and to support and strengthen those communities where extremists are most active.
There's already been pushback from 2 of the 3 Muslim groups, and one has even threatened legal action if he were to repeat his remarks outside of parliamentary privilege. Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer says extremism and new threats do need to be taken seriously.
What's most important is that this is truly cross-party, and this will be the test of the government. Are they really reaching out to other parties to make something which can go forward as a matter of consensus? Or are they going to try and use this sort of for party political point scoring as we go into the election?
As Rishi's government has stumbled from crisis to crisis, there's been plenty of talk about the potential for a May general election. The local elections take place on May 2nd, and with no sign of an improvement in polling numbers, some commentators expected the PM might go for an early option. He was out and about on Thursday, though, firmly rejecting the suggestion.
Well, I said at the start of this year my working assumption was we'd have an election in the second half of this year, and nothing has changed since I said that. If we stick to our plan, we'll be able to give pensioners a £900 increase in the state pension, but also cut taxes for people with our NICS cards as well.
With the current racism scandal and his refusal to return what may be £15 million worth of donations from Frank Hester, the pressure on Rishi has been growing. And it's not just from Labour and the polls. There is growing discontent within his own party. Deputy chairwoman of the European Research Group and MP, Andrea Jenkins, was making her views clear on Radio 4 on Thursday morning.
Ideally, I personally want a new leader before the election and start delivering on our manifesto commitments. Then these disaffected voters, which we are seeing, I do think we can bring them back.
Reports on Thursday evening suggest that Russia may have deliberately jammed satellite signals on UK Defence Secretary Grant Shapps' plane as he returned from a meeting in Poland. It came as the plane passed near Kaliningrad, but defence sources say there was no immediate danger to the secretary or journalists on board. Meanwhile, Russia's presidential election is underway, with Putin almost certain to secure a sweeping victory, but both the EU and NATO were criticising the electoral process in Russia, noting that Putin has effectively crushed all opposition. NATO Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg was calling for more aid and ammunition for Ukraine as the war reaches a point of great danger for Europe.
So this is a critical moment. And it will be a grave historic mistake to allow Putin to prevail. We cannot allow authoritarian leaders to get their way by using force.
With no sign of a ceasefire in the war in Gaza, and with Israel still determined to go ahead with its next offensive phase in Rafah, cracks are beginning to show in America's support for the current Israeli government, as life becomes increasingly difficult for the Palestinian population, and there's no sign of a speeding up of food aid. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer took an unusual public step on Thursday. Speaking in the Senate, he described Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu as a major obstacle to peace. It comes after his refusal to consider a two-state solution once the war is over, and Schumer says Israel needs to call a general election.
If Prime Minister Netanyahu's current coalition remains in power after the war and continues to pursue dangerous and inflammatory policies, then the United States will have no choice but to play a more active role in shaping Israeli policy.
Still to come on today's Smart 7, Liverpool run wild in Europa League and Jake Gyllenhaal hits the Roadhouse right after this.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month. Slows full terms at mintmobile.com.
Welcome back.
Thursday night saw the quarter-final places decided for the Europa League and the Europa Conference League. The early games saw Rangers knocked out by Benfica and a dramatic 5-0 win for West Ham that booked them a quarter-final spot. Aston Villa beat Ajax 4-0 at home to head to the conference quarter-finals. Brighton were 4-0 down after the first leg against Roma, so a 1-0 win at home wasn't enough to keep them in the competition. Liverpool were 5-1 up after the first leg against Sparta Prague, but they didn't take it easy on the Czech side, hammering in 6 goals to finish the tie 11-2. Jurgen Klopp was happy to be headed to a European quarter-final.
It's about us to decide how good a game it will be, and obviously the boys enjoyed football and it did exceptionally well, and it was all fine. We wanted to go through, we wanted to play good, we scored goals, so that's all fine.
Jake Gyllenhaal has been in town to promote his new movie Roadhouse. It's sort of a reboot of the original 1989 Patrick Swayze movie of the same name, but the plot's been tweaked so that Jake's character is an ex-UFC fighter. He got seriously beefed up for the role to go toe-to-toe with real-life former UFC fighter Conor McGregor. Reviews haven't been particularly kind to McGregor, but Jake was keener to talk about Patrick Swayze when he popped up on The One Show. The two worked together on Donnie Darko, and Jake included a little tribute in the movie.
To me, it didn't feel a responsibility, though the character has a lot of tattoos, and I do wear a tattoo in dedication to him because I kind of wanted to bring him along with me. I mean, he was one of a kind. He was the kindest. He was always so supportive at the beginning of my career.
We've seen a few Robert De Niro road trip movies over the years, most notably Meet the Fockers, but new movie Ezra takes a slightly different approach. It's a comedy drama with a stellar cast including De Niro, Rose Byrne, Whoopi Goldberg, Rainn Wilson and Vera Farmiga. Bobby Cannavale stars as a stand-up comic who lives with his father, played by De Niro, and is struggling to co-parent his autistic son, played by newcomer William Fitzgerald. An opportunity arises in LA, so he sets out on a road trip with his son and of course learns a lot along the way.
That kid is the one thing that I can't get wrong.
Where the hell are you?
Taking a little time off with Ez.
It's not a good time to take off, Max.
You're fighting for something. You might have to suffer consequences, but it's worth it because you did it. Because you love your kid.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes, and we'll give you the world.
Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
Hey guys, welcome to Giggly Squad,
a place where we make fun of everything, but most importantly, ourselves.
I'm Paige DeSorbo.
I'm Hannah Berner.
Welcome to the squad.
Giggly Squad started on Summer House when we were giggling during an inappropriate time.
But of course, we can't be managed.
So we decided to start this podcast to continue giggling.
We will make fun of pop culture news,
we're watching,
fashion trends, pep talks where we give advice,
mental health moments,
and games and guests.
Listen to Giggly Squad on Acast or wherever you get your podcasts.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.